No, you can't free them! The chimps are infected! Infected with what? Rage. I'm John Renton with the Retro Review 28 Days Later from 2002. Directed by Danny Boyle, who has done such films as Trainspotting, A Life Less Ordinary, The Beach, that had one hell of a soundtrack and was really, really weird, and not weird in a positive way. I don't remember liking The Beach very much. May retro review it anyway, just to see if it's still as batshit stupid as I remember. He also did Sunshine, Lollipops, and A Space Trip to the Sun. Is that Cillian Murphy in this? I think that's how you pronounce his name. But he also did Slumdog Millionaire. Danny Boyle, not Mr. Murphy. And he also did 127 Hours and other projects, and this was written by Alex Garland. Yeah, his reputation speaks for itself. From Ex Machina all the way to Warfare. Boy, Warfare. That movie will leave you scarred. Speaking of scarred, the world's scarred. Because, well, some infected chimps ended up infecting some other people, and now the world is fucked. And then 28 days later, in a film called 28 Days Later, well, at least it's very on the nose, like Tony Khan just before he books another television program. That's a deep cut for wrestling fans. Basically, yes, infected chimps get freed by some activists, and, well, they're infected with a blood rage virus where they have to bite you, or if a drop of blood gets in your eye, in a cut, or anything, you are fucked, and then you will instantly turn rage-filled. So basically, it's just pretty much like dealing with, the public. Like if you're in customer service, you'll be rage-filled within 5 minutes. I know. I've done it for like 25 years. That being said, Jim, played by Cillian Murphy, I actually don't know if that's how you pronounce his name, and I don't necessarily care. He's a great actor, but it's one of those weird names. He wakes up in a hospital, and nobody's around. But there's a bunch of Pepsi. He's able to drink the Pepsi. He finds some infected that he doesn't know are infected. Then he runs into a couple people, such as Selena, played by Naomi Harris, who is in Moonlight. And then you also have Noah Hutley, who doesn't make it very... Look, if you have not seen 28 Days Later, let's just say it's a spin on the zombie-infected subgenre, and that's about it. It also features some of the dumbest fucking camera work that I have seen in motherfucking years. And I know it's supposed to be guerrilla style, it's supposed to be presented differently. This had an $8 million budget. And I don't even think 8 cents was spent on the goddamn camera work. Now, again, probably intentional, but this reminded me of Dog Soldiers. And if you remember Dog Soldiers, you will either take that as a compliment or a complete insult. I may retro review that at some point, but because the second one came out 5 years after this, and then the third one spent years and almost 2 decades in development hell, and will be coming out in just a few weeks, I decided to revisit this. I remember not liking this movie. It did come out while I was working at the theater in town, and I've watched it a few times. And I've just never seen the appeal. I have never seen the fucking appeal of 28 Days Later. I know what they were going for. There were some decent moments. Some nods to other zombie movies, such as Day of the Dead. And, yes, the social commentary about humans being the real monsters. There were points in this movie that sort of worked. Brendan Gleeson having a nice moment, before he ends up being basically offed. And there are moments and decent shots in this, but I'm sorry, that camera work is dog shit. It is fucking rotten. And the cinematography, budgetary constraints or not, this had $8 million towards it. By the way, that would be $14.2 million in today's money. It did make $10 million in its opening, and that would be $17.8 million in today's money. $45 million U.S. haul, which would be $80.2 million in today's money, and $84.6 million worldwide, which would be just over $150 million. So a sequel is guaranteed, and the movie was a hit. And it's not the worst thing I've seen. It's certainly not Diary of the Dead. It's not that bad. But yeah, we start off with some news reports of rioting and all this stuff going on and everything. And that could be any given day in society or Seattle or really anywhere. But then we see a chimpanzee that's hooked up to stuff like he's fucking Caesar and goddamn, the most recent Planet of the Apes trilogy, not including Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, which was really fucking good. So, yeah, basically these British activists decide to break them out, but yeah, that doesn't work all that well because they don't account for the fact that, hey, one of these scientists is just staying over there drinking a cup and saying, huh, these people aren't supposed to be here. But then the chimps are infected. They're infected with rage. How did they get infected with rage? I don't know. It's like Outbreak. If Outbreak was compiled from a bunch of like DOS files. I don't know if they were using DOS files in 2002, but I'm just going to roll with it. This camera work, again, absolute fucking dog shit. And then we go 28 days later. Jim wakes up. He's drinking some Pepsi. He should have gotten in the Pepsi Man outfit. It certainly would have been a lot better than what we got here. London is fucked. And not just because of Brexit. So, he does end up going through these buildings. There's a lot of walking in this. In fact, you really could have, honest to God, cut down on, I'd say 15 minutes of walking in this and you wouldn't have missed shit. Would have been a tighter pace. Somebody did paint the end as fucking nigh on the wall of an apartment building or a flat building, whatever they call it over there. And then he ends up showing up in a church, and it's one of those churches with sloped seating, and there's a bunch of dead people, except a few infected. They're alive. And then the father, the priest, father, son, and the holy infected decide to attack. And he knocks him down, and Jim's like, I shouldn't have done that. And, what the fuck is going on? This is after Noah Utley and Naomi's characters, their respective characters, rescue Jim. What the fuck is going on? Good question. If the camera work let us see, then that would actually be nice. People get set on fire. A gas station, or a petrol station, as they call it there, got set on fire, I assume. And the world is fucked. Everybody's family is dead. Jim ends up actually going to his house. His parents pilled themselves up, and they're dead. That's unfortunate, but at least they went peacefully, like the Von Erichs. Well, all but one of them. And then, let's just say he's not doing all that well as far as food. He's not really having a lot of food, but he's having a lot of sugar. And here's some sugar and pain pills. Really is like the Von Erichs. Anyway, so, essentially, let's just say, Noah's character doesn't make it very long. We get some infected fight, and then he gets bit. And she has to kill him. Because if you don't, then they're going to turn infected and they turn really super strong and whatever. So, while walking along, Jim and Selena see these Christmas lights on this apartment. And it's Frank and Hannah. Frank, played by Brenda Gleeson. And let's see, Megan Burns, who plays Hannah. I had to look at my notes there. She was in 3 roles. This is one of 3 roles she had. You can kind of see why after this. Not that she was bad, but she was not spectacular. So, it hasn't rained for 10 days in London, so none of the buckets and pots and pans on the roof have goddamn water. And they hear this automated message from this military compound. Hey, go here and we'll help you. Salvation is nearby. So they get in a discount taxi. It looks like it's straight out of the 1930s. They go over rubbish and bodies. They pop a tire. They fix the tire. There are rats in the UK. Oh boy, geez, Nosferatu's never. Orlok is nearby. I would have rather been sucked off by Orlok at this point. That I probably should have reworded that. Let's just move on. But I think being drained of my blood would have been a lot less painful than continuing to watch this. So they do manage to get the tire fixed, and they get away. They get to the store that is virtually untouched. Somehow. Like, I know the idea is that you're not supposed to maybe put too much thought into it, but this movie tries to sound deeper than it actually is, so I do have questions. So, they get a bunch of groceries. They pack it into a small taxi car. They end up siphoning some gas. And then Jim and Selena are chatting. And, well, you probably should have gotten away from that corpse, Brendan Gleeson, but you didn't. Oh, my eye, I'm not supposed to get infected blood in it. And he knows that he's fucked, so he's telling Hannah to get away from him. He starts... And, I mean, if I was in some of the movies Brendan Gleeson was in, I would be upset too. So, Jim's going to take a bat to him, but then suddenly some military guys show up and shoot him. And it turns out these military guys are at the behest of Christopher Eccleston, who was in Doctor Who. The hell cares? Deep cut for MST3K fans and infuriating for anybody that's a Doctor Who fan. Don't worry, I'm not going to blink my eyes so the Weeping Angels don't get me. I think that's the name of them. So, yeah, they essentially get taken to... They find their way to this compound. There are these men. There's this one infected called Mailer. Straight out of the Day of the Dead thing. It's like they're trying to teach him, or they're trying to learn about the infected. Like, you know how, I forget the one trapped zombie's name, but he learns to have a little humanity and learns to shoot. So, essentially, they have their own hot water, all that, and, well, basically they're there for a reason. They're let in because there's two women, and they want to procreate. Mind you, Hannah is... I don't know how old the Hannah character is supposed to be, but I believe the actress herself was born in 86. This is 2002. Probably means it was filmed sometime in late 2001, which means she was 15. Which is gross. That's gross. I mean, it's gross what they want to do anyway. That's even more gross. So... They end up trapping Jim and a man named Farrell, not Will Ferrell as it were. But then basically they realize they're outside the wall of this, so infected could get them, and some of the soldiers snap. They turn on each other. Stupidly, I might add. I'm amazed these fuckers could get out of bed. And then Jim kind of goes all vigilante and guerrilla style and starts attacking people. Once he gets back and we got some attempted R scenes. That was fun. That's what I want to see in my zombie movie. Yes, I know humanity being the most evil of all, but come on. And then, well, let's just say eventually that Mailer gets free. Jim ends up killing some of the guys, but gets gut shot by West. Hannah's in the car and lets Mailer bust through the goddamn window where West gets killed, and then somehow everybody's okay. They have a message on a bunch of sheets that says hello, because they see a jet flying overhead. They saw a jet flying overhead before. Actually, Jim did, before he went on this vigilante rampage. And now they're looking they're looking for survivors. I know what the movie's supposed to be, but this is an hour and 53 minutes long, and I think 93 minutes would have done. And I mean, the other one's shorter. That doesn't mean it's much better. And I don't remember caring much for the sequel, but we'll see here in a bit. But yeah, I'm sorry. 28 Days Later just was not good to me. It just wasn't. I mean, I don't mind being different, but this was very excruciatingly cheaply shot, if that's even a proper way to say it. Didn't work for me. Just didn't work. So, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter, Letterboxd, Blue Sky handles in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.